Hello, my name is Ben Bialik, and I am the rental and repair manager here at Eagle Crest Ski Area in Juneau, Alaska. Also work for an awesome company called Curated. Their mission being to provide awesome expert advice to everybody that comes through their website. So basically you log on to Curated and you get hooked up with an expert in whatever field you're looking at. So snow sports, skiing, snowboarding, as well as mountaineering and that kind of stuff too. But hiking and backpacking and everything, golf, all those kinds of things, you log on, you get to talk to an expert in your field. It's just like going to a shop and talking to a person there. So with everything going on, it's been super awesome, but also with everything going on, we've hit a really weird point in the snow sports industry. I personally, as well as the whole community here in Juneau, Alaska, as well as a lot of communities in the United States, as well as I imagine abroad, really rely on ski swaps to get gear circulating through their communities. Now, here, those have been canceled for the last couple of years. We also don't even have an actual full-blown ski shop, retail shop that is, here in this entire town. So, a lot of people have no idea where to even start. And that's why Curated is super awesome, because you can ixnay that whole first step and talk to somebody that can be relatable and get right down to business with you. But people don't know, everybody doesn't know about Curated, and not everybody knows about the resources that are out there for them. So I thought it would be really important and really awesome to make a little video, or a couple of videos here, that explain some of the basic terminology and basic things that we talk about when we're talking about getting you the right ski, or just skis in general. So, hopefully this isn't convoluted. Again, if you want to talk to me directly, I'm going to try to be really good about responding to comments. But the link for my Curated will be up there or below or somewhere, and then you can always talk to me directly, whether you buy something or not, and we can really work things out. So, first things first, ski length. Now, ski length is not universal, but one thing that a lot of people wonder about is how much it has changed throughout time. And I'll tell you, in the last 25 years, it has changed a lot. You go back to the straight ski era in the 70s, 80s, even into the early 90s, where skis had very little shape. You were talking about getting skis that were 10 to 15 centimeters taller than you are. Now, my basic recommendation for beginner and intermediate skiers is somewhere 10-ish centimeters below the top of their head. So, you can definitely go smaller, you can definitely go bigger. But every single size recommendation is different depending on the ski and the skier and all these types of things. So with everything here, take in mind, trying to be a little bit general. Try to give you the overarching things so that you can make the decisions better. But nitpicky stuff, you're still going to want to talk to an expert or a ski shop or something to really get down and dirty with what you need. But in general, in icier areas or people who want a little bit more control or beginners, go 10 to 15 centimeters below the top of their head. It should put you somewhere in the chin, mouth area, somewhere right around here. That's going to allow you to turn a lot better, not get too fast, and be a lot easier to learn on. But again, I said, in icier conditions or people who want a little bit more control, you could be an expert skier in Virginia, North Carolina, where it's really quite icy, places like that, and still go with a smaller ski because you just need something that can really dig in and things like that. But general recommendation for beginners there, and then for people who are intermediate to advanced, you're going somewhere around like 8 to 3 centimeters below their head, putting you somewhere around the eye to mouth level. That's going to give you a really good general place to start. But everything is different. These are my powder skis that I've used for a long time. And I'll stand up straight and you'll notice they are quite a bit bigger than I am. They are 182 centimeters long, and I am 181 centimeters long, or 180 centimeters long. So things can really change, and the reason why things can change is because of ski shape, which is what I want to talk about now. Now, the terms that people hear thrown around quite a bit are rocker and camber, and you probably already have some sort of idea what that is, but these skis will give you a really good idea what that is. Now, camber is going to be your ski shape. When you're talking about ski shape, you're looking at it sideways like this. It's going to be your ski shape bringing contact to the snow, so curving this way. When you talk about rocker, you're talking about your ski shape turning this way. So, for instance, with these skis, I almost always will have my upper hand at the rocker point, which is the point where this touches. Below this point, you'll see this is all camber. So if you look at this ski, you can see it moves away from the center point like that. But then above this rocker point, it moves out like that on both sides. Now what camber is doing instead is giving you more contact with the snow. And that's why you typically want camber somewhere underneath where your feet are going to be. When I say underfoot, you're talking about the area of your ski right here, underneath where your bindings are mounted in the middle of your ski. So you want that camber to be there because that's the part that you're going to be edging in your turn with. It's the part that you're going to be forcing down into the snow to make your carving. Now, you want your rocker on your tips and tails, and this is an extreme rocker example. As a matter of fact, this ski has so much rocker, it is called the Solomon Rocker 2 because it has the Rocker 2 profile on it. So anyways, this rocker stretches all the way from here up this ski. Now that is giving you less contact with the snow. You are losing control of your ability to turn. Now why would you want that? Well, what rocker is going to do is when you get into the deeper snow, this top rocker part is going to be lifting your ski up out of the snow. So it's going to require less effort for you to be floating on top of that powder or that lighter snow on top if you have more rocker. As opposed to camber, if you have a full camber profile, you're going to be digging into that softer snow and you're going to sink quite deep. So this is a powder ski for sure. It's technically classified as an all mountain ski, but for somebody my size, this is definitely a powder ski, and it has a massive rocker profile, which is this going out and then just a little bit of camber underfoot coming in right there. So I'll give you another example here. This is a ski with almost no rocker and a lot of camber. So you can see from this point where my top fingers are all the way to the tail, it is just camber. There's no point in which this ski flails out. And this is a carving ski. This is a vocal mantra. It's been a carving ski. It's had the same shape for the last 20 years. It's one of the best carving skis around, and it is mostly rather, I should say, because of that ski shape. Now, a second thing is twin tip skis versus early rise skis. A lot of what we hear is, I want a twin tip ski. And a lot of that is just wanting something different. But the only time you really need a twin tip ski is if you're a park skier and a pretty hardcore park skier. You can get away with what's called early rise, which I'll bring this ski back. So the reason you want a twin tip is because you want to be riding backwards with just as much control as riding forwards. And park skis have that. And they are true twin tips. So this, not like this, but a park ski will look like this on the tip and on the tail. And that means that if you're flipping off things and you're landing backwards at high speeds and you're landing forwards at high speeds and doing all sorts of things like that, it doesn't matter how you land or how you take off, you're going to feel the same on your ski. Now, what most people want is just a little bit of that. They just want to be able to ride backwards a little bit or be able to land backwards on tricks and stuff like that. And what is just fine for that is what's called early rise. And you can have early rise tips and you can have early rise tails. But all that is instead of coming to a contact point right here, it rises up out of the snow just a little bit. So you can imagine if this is the back of your ski and you were skiing backwards, it would be okay. But if you're skiing backwards and this is the back of your ski, and you hit a bump or you hit some powder or something, you're going to dive in pretty quickly. It's going to be a lot less responsive. Now, I could ski backwards just fine on this ski, but you can also do something intermediate, where like this has a little bit of early rise on the tail, and skiing backwards on this ski would be just fine. So really, unless you're looking for something that is a dedicated park ski, twin tips, not necessarily super necessary. But early rise, tips and tails, definitely something that you should look for. Now, there's one more element of these skis that's really important. It's called your side cut. Now I want to mention first, on every ski you get dealt 3 numbers, and they're always somewhere on the ski. Now I'm going to say that I'm not going to be able to find them on this ski, but I definitely know where they are on this ski here. They're right here. So you see those 3 numbers there, hopefully. What those 3 numbers are: 129, 95, 115. That's saying that this part right here is 125 millimeters. Right underfoot, 95 millimeters. And back here, 115 millimeters. So you think about that, that means that the ski is starting fat and coming in and then going a little bit out. And what that's called is your side cut. Now these 3 numbers, the main one that you want to think about is the middle, and that's your underfoot width. So that's the term that we hear thrown around all the time. If you hear mantra 102, 102 is the 102 millimeters underfoot width. Millions of skis are named like that, but it's always very easy to find that number. Now, it's a little bit more complicated when you talk about side cut to really understand what that's doing to your ski. So, with the side cut on a ski like this, it goes out and it comes in not super deep, but then it goes back out again. Now you can imagine what that means is as you get more aggressive underneath your foot, you're going to have more power. So think about a ski like this. A ski like this is pretty straight. It's 108 in the middle, it's 118 up top or something like that, and about 118 on the bottom. It might be like 120, but this is a pretty straight ski in terms of side cut. And what this ski really does not excel at is turning. It's a great powder ski, especially for somebody my size, but it doesn't turn, it doesn't cut in. The reason for that is when I get on an edge on this ski, my whole ski is contacting. And the more of your ski that's contacting, the slower you're going to be. Suppose that when you get an edge on this ski, you have just this middle part contacting, and you're able to put your power, the same amount of power as you have to distribute through the whole edge, on just this middle part. So because this has a bigger side cut difference, so the difference of those 3 numbers, the 120-ish, the 95, and the 115-ish, that's a pretty big difference. It means it's going to have a pretty big side cut shape, and it means it's going to have a very small radius. Now radius is the other number that you see all over the place. And radius is weird because it'll be like 15 meters or 22 meters. Something totally immeasurable by you and I. But all that radius is taking this ski with its side shape and lining it up, hundreds of them, until eventually it makes a giant circle next to each other. And the radius of that circle is your radius. Now that seems like a stupid, useless thing, but generally what it means is the smaller radius means there's more side cut, and so it means it's going to be a better turning ski. So you can almost think of it like your turn radius. A smaller radius means a quicker turn, a sharper turn. A bigger radius means it's going to be a little bit smoother. It's going to be harder to get it around those turns. So hopefully that's helpful in explaining radius. Hopefully that's helpful in explaining side cut, rocker and camber, and a couple of those other things. Again, I'm going to try to be really good about replying to comments, and there are going to be multiple of these videos. Hopefully I'll do one every week, maybe every 2 weeks, depending on my schedule and everything like that. But feel free to reach out to me at any time on Curated. I'll always get back to you as quickly as I can. And hopefully this is a nice little intro to get you started looking at your own skis and knowing what all those crazy numbers look like and mean.